All right, guys, we are here today with Brett, and he is a blind skater.
Yeah.
So tell your whole story.
All right.
So Hippie Mike told me that you do like inspirational talks at schools.
I do, yeah. And in that story, in my Inspirational Speaks, I tell my whole story as well. My name is Brett Devlo. I go by TBK, the blind kid. Bert, my friends call me that. Logan calls me Brev. You don't know Logan.
TBK, the blind kid.
Yeah. I lost my vision when I was 16 on November 23rd, 2011.
Wow.
And we're coming up on 13 years in about a week and a half or 2 weeks here. Yeah, about a week actually.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was sitting in the middle of history class, writing the notes on the overhead. If you remember overheads, I was like the light box and it can be all out of focus.
Yes.
So I'm sitting there writing the notes. I thought it was out of focus, so I'm like, done, sign in the cut. I'm not writing any more notes because whatever, it was history class.
Yeah.
Then the lights went on and everything else was out of focus too.
Wow.
So then I'm like, oh.
Just instantly.
Yeah, instantly, gone, just in the middle of class. And I looked at the person to my left, I'm like, can you read that? She's like, yeah, and I'm like, So then I walked to the eye doctor by myself in town because I grew up in a small town, right?
Yeah.
And so I knew the way.
Yeah.
In my head, I wasn't like, oh no, I'm blind, everything's over, I don't know what to do. I was just like, okay, something's wrong, it's probably with these old peepers and I should probably make it to the eye doctor. My eye doctor's only in town one day every 5 weeks, and she was there, like,
wow.
Perfect timing in a sense.
Yes.
I went in, I'm like, can I get an appointment? And she's like, yeah, come back at 2:30. And I'm like, okay. Instead of going, actually, I'm blind. Can I do it now? I went back to school.
Yes.
And I had a note. And you know how when you're a kid in school and you think, oh man, the guys with the notes probably are always going somewhere cool, man. I wish I had a note to leave class. And then I had a note, not that cool. I remember going up to my teacher and I'm like, can I get out of here? I got to go to an eye doctor thing. He's like, oh yeah, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I just can't see. So I walked back down there, and she has me in the chair doing the tests and stuff like that, and I'm like failing them all.
Whoa.
And I'm like, you know, like the big E at the top of the chart?
Yeah.
Couldn't see the big E at the top of the
Whoa.
chart. And she's like, you went from 20/50 vision, like 20/20, like if 20/50 is really close to 20/20, you can drive with the like low prescription glasses.
Yeah.
And I had my license and my own car. And she's like, you went from 20/50 to 25,000 in a matter of seconds.
How? How is that possible?
It was a DNA mutation, and it took them 8 months to diagnose me, by the way. First of all, she called my mom then, and I'm like, oh no, I'm in trouble now. That was my first thought, I'm in trouble, not... But it was a DNA mutation called Leber's hereditary optical neuropathy, which is a mouthful and a long way of saying a rare genetic mutation that it gets passed down from women, so I can't give it on, which is really cool, so my kids won't be blind due to me.
Wow.
And
a rare genetic mutation that just in the middle of history class, just boom, you're blind.
Yeah, so like DNA is made up of millions of numbers.
Yeah.
One of those numbers was wrong. That's all it takes.
What in the world?
Yeah. So they don't have any cure for this right now, and it took them 8 months to diagnose me. They tested me for everything. I saw ophthalmologist, optometrist, specialist, neurologist, all of that. Some guy literally was doing nerve testing, so he's just poking me with his finger in a paper clip. He's like, let me know which one you think it is. And I nailed that test, so he's like, not that.
What does that mean?
I don't even know what he was testing for, like to see where the nerves might be damaged or something. It's like seeing if it was going to be something to do with like my optic nerve that was damaged. Maybe. I don't know. That's my assumption.
Yeah.
So really, I didn't understand that then. I'm just thinking I aced that test finally.
Yes.
It took them a while, and since then, that was when I was 16.
Yeah.
I had my license. I had my own car.
Yeah.
And they took away my license 3 years after I went blind, by the way.
Wow.
I kept signing for it and renewing it. No idea.
But you weren't driving.
No.
And you're
definitely not.
What's your blind percent? You said 98?
Yeah, I'm 98% blind, man. I got like 2% visions, meaning I can see like contrast, so light on dark, sometimes, not all the time. No colors left, maybe like the color blue sometimes, but not enough to make a difference. So like right now, there's the camera right there. Hi, camera, and Chloe. So I can tell it's there, but that's just because it's a dark
You can
blur.
see a dark blur.
Yeah, just a dark ball because the rest of the park is white behind it, right?
Right.
It might be gray, it might be whatever, but it is not on the dark side of the contrast line.
Right.
And like, you right here, because it's all lots of shadows around you, so I can't really see where you are, but I know you're there because we're talking.
Okay.
But like, I can tell you're wearing dark pants.
Yes.
That's about it.
That's right.
I can tell I'm wearing 3/4 of dark pants.
Yes.
So that's how much I can see.
Yeah.
So say like when I'm skateboarding, which I started doing when I was 4, and honestly, I never thought about being blind as stopping me from skating. I just wanted to skate because I knew that's what makes me feel good.
Yes.
Makes me feel free. Makes me something that I can control. No one can tell me how to do it. There's all these adapted sports, which is great for people who love sports, but I'm not competitive.
Right.
And I just always loved skating, and like, skating didn't change.
Right.
Nothing
That's cool.
changed about skating. You
Yeah.
know? And I lived in Manitoba, so there was snow on the ground everywhere. So I had to wait, because I went blind in November, so I had to wait till like February at the earliest, and I still just had to shovel the sidewalk to see if I could skate. Threw my board down. That's when I knew it. You know, that was home again. Things would be okay.
Yes, right. Because mentally, that's a very difficult thing to go through. Were you like, what was that like for you?
It was rough.
Yeah.
It was rough. Like, I didn't have much of a chance for it to be rough either, though, because I was 16. There's a lot going on at that age.
Yeah.
And as soon as I went blind, and they went through all of the testing, and I finally realized I could skate again.
Yeah.
I started getting a decent amount of like attention, in a sense of telling my story. I got asked to do speeches at schools because I love to talk. Can you tell? So they were like, "Come do that in front of all these people."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Cool. I don't have to get nervous."
Yeah, do your speech. Tell your whole story. I love it. I
And,
want the inspirational speech.
So this is the first half of it. Like, you know, I started out doing all that skating, and I started out when I was a kid. I loved skating because I started skating when I was 4. I got my first boards from like Costco or something for a birthday. They weren't even popsicle shaped, you know. They're like the fish with the wide tail and the round front. They were like kind of a skateboard.
Right.
And I loved it though. I didn't care. I'm like, okay, cool. I can go on my feet on a piece of wood on wheels fast. That's amazing.
Yes.
And I was just 4, you know. And then I got a Spider-Man board. Didn't know that it wasn't a pro board. I didn't know what pro boards were. Didn't know the difference. I just got a board, and older kids are doing things. I want to do that.
Yeah.
I'm on this little Walmart deck, going down 8-foot ramps, hitting fun boxes, getting 6 feet of air, and like gapping like 9 feet. You know, like just ridiculous stuff for a 10-year-old when I shouldn't. When like that, I can still see them, but like that was the love of it. I just didn't understand that there was a difference. And then I got my first pro deck, and I loved it. Like, it wasn't even that pro. I think it was Anti-Hero or something.
How old were you at this time period?
That was about 8 or 9 or 10.
Okay.
Around there. And then fast forward a few years, just living normal life, and it was exactly that, a normal day. And it was just like every other day. Get on the bus, put my pants on, same way as you, 2 feet at a time.
Right. Same as you, 2 feet at a time.
Yeah. Go straight to school and sitting in class. It was just gone.
That is so wild. It's amazing that life can just change that fast, just in an instant.
Mm-hmm. My mindset was I had to roll with the punches. I didn't have a choice. I don't know, like, I obviously look back now and I realize there was choices to give up, but in my mindset, there wasn't a choice to give up.
Right.
There wasn't a choice to slow down. There wasn't a choice to do anything other than live my life exactly how I'd still live it.
Yes.
So I would be going in front of these schools and telling my story to students, and it feels amazing. I got to do that, and then immediately after I went blind, my mom and everyone, my first thought was, how can I get a job? What am I going to do for my life?
Yes.
And my mom came home from work one day, and she was like, you should start a clothing line called Visually Impaired Not Drunk. And because people would think when I was walking around town, not waving back at them across the street, that I'm just drunk or doing or something other than that, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, need to get a shirt that just says, no, I'm blind. So when she said that, I'm like, well, that's not the worst idea, but maybe a better name.
Yeah.
So I started the Blind Kid clothing line because when I was walking around class and around halls and stuff, people would be always whispering behind my back going, there goes the blind kid.
Yeah.
There goes the blind kid.
Oh, man.
Remembering I'm not the deaf kid. But my mindset, again, has always been roll with it.
Yes.
They were bullying. They weren't saying nice things, you know?
Yes.
But I didn't see that. I was just like, heck yeah, I'm the blind kid, what's up?
Yeah.
So I started TBK, the Blind Kid clothing line, and the first thing I decided to do with that is turn it into something better than just a t-shirt line.
Yeah.
So
way to make a good situation out of a bad situation.
It feels great because what I got to do with that is I started a foundation with it as well. So proceeds from my clothing line went to get iPads for blind kids because I got given an iPad from people put money together and got me an iPad when I went blind.
Right.
Because it has screen reader software on it.
Right.
It does this, like it can read to you, like everything I touch on the phone gets read out.
Wow.
And it goes fast now, but I can slow it down, and then you gradually pick up the speed.
Yeah.
So that, because I want to do things as fast as you.
Yeah, that's cool.
So with the iPads, I started getting iPads together, and I would go blind kid hunting is the best way to say it. Just trying to find blind kids that needed help.
Yes.
And I went through the Education Board for Disabilities, and I'd find students who needed help, and I'd be like, don't tell them. I'd call their mom, and I'd be like, or dad, their parent or guardian.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, hey, my name's the blind kid, Brett. They're probably thinking immediately like, no, that's my son. That's what we call my kid. But it's like, I'm like, does your kid have an iPad or a software to help them with school? And they're like, no. I'm like, I'm gonna give them one tomorrow. Don't tell them, it's a secret.
Oh, that's cool.
And then I go to their school. I call the principal saying, can I come into school and do this?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, of course. I come into school, I go to the class, I knock on the door, and I'm like, hey, is so-and-so here, Jacob here? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, Jacob, where are you? Like, make some noise so I can find you. And I go up to them like, hey man, my name is Brad, the blind kid. Here's an iPad to help you with school. Your EA, your TA will be able to teach you how to use it. It's got screen reader software on it called VoiceOver. I'm gonna get out of here. And I'm out.
Wow, that's cool.
And I never filmed it. I didn't do any of that stuff. I didn't want to. It wasn't
Yeah.
about that. It's about
Right.
helping.
That's right.
And I did it like quietly. I didn't tell anybody I'm going any other than like, I'm out of there.
Yes.
And then sometimes I get asked to stay to do a speech to the school. They literally pull an assembly together, and I just tell my story about skating, how skating brought me to meeting Tony Hawk and like stuff like that.
Yeah, tell the story.
It was really just a meet and greet at a sports check, but when I got to meet him, somehow he already heard of me, which blew my mind, because at that point I was really tight into flip tricks, and I was working on lasers over a bank.
No way, lasers over
Yeah.
a bank?
And
Wow, that's really good.
I landed it a couple times. I couldn't do it right now because I took a little bit of time focusing on music, but now I'm going hard back into it. So that's my goal, is to get back to that.
Yeah.
But I guess he literally said, I'm like, hi, my name is Brett, the blind kid. I skate. And he's like, are you that blind kid that can land laser flips? I'm like, I just landed that first time like yesterday, bro. Like, how did you? But it's because somebody met me at the skate park that day, saw that, ran into Tony Hawk in the airport, and told him all about me immediately. So his first thing was like, yeah, and then it was when he was doing that big vert ramp demo at Sports Check parking lots, and with Mitchy Brewski and Corby from the X Games was announcing it. So I'm just skating in the parking lot, and they get me into the VIP area. I'm like 5 feet away from the ramp. I can't even see it. And I'm just like listening, you know?
Yeah.
And it was
cool.
just so cool.
Yeah.
So cool. And yeah, so it went from doing all those things and giving the iPads to blind kids, and it's been so fulfilling doing that, giving the iPads away, because I get to just do something nice and run away.
Yeah, I love it.
After that, I got the diagnosis of being blind about 8 months after losing my vision. The diagnosis was pretty rough, to be honest, because they said it was...
Yeah, I was going to say, what was that like?
That was probably the worst part, because at this point, I still thought there might be hope.
Yeah.
Like it might come back, you know?
Right.
And I got this blood work, and they're like, oh, we'll test him for this. And I'm already sick and tired of getting needles at this point.
Yeah.
So I'm like, fine, just poke me and get it over with, test me. And they're like, okay, they test me, they're like, but don't worry. If this one comes back, go buy a lottery ticket, because this one's very, very rare, like very rare. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever,
Yeah.
just get it. They're like, we're just playing the elimination game. We're trying to get it off the table.
Right.
I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. They're like, we'll get your results within 2 to 4 weeks. I'm like, fantastic. 8 weeks later,
Oh, wow.
I get my mom and dad come into my room together, and that just never happened, you know? I'm
Right.
just sitting on the bed listening to tunes or something, not much else I could do. They come in together, and I'm like, oh no, it came back, didn't it? The results came in, right? And they're like, yeah. And I can just hear in their voice, I'm like, positive? They're like, yeah. I'm like, well, that's pretty negative.
Yeah.
And so what that means is I got diagnosed with Leber's hereditary optical neuropathy, LHON, the 3460 line, which is a strain, and they've got 4 strains. One that's very, very rare that will never get your vision back ever, and that's the most rare version of it, like 5% of people have that one.
Yeah.
That's where I sit.
Wow.
Then there's-
Never get your vision back ever.
Not spontaneously, not that it won't just come back.
Right.
And right now they're working on some cures and stuff like that. They're getting into human trials with some things. It's all like genetic mutation, where they'd be like shooting mutated DNA into my eyeballs with needles.
Whoa.
And yeah, I'm like, I'll wait.
Yeah, yeah. I'm good on that, thanks.
I'll wait. I'm good. I'm still fine. And they started, when I heard about that, they're starting to do that. They're like giving it like 2 weeks of needles too. I'm like, not just one?
Yeah.
And guess how much it costs?
How much?
$750,000 for a needle in your eyeballs to maybe see.
No way.
I'm like, I'm good. And yeah, so when they told me that, I was pretty bummed, dude, to be honest, because at that point I still had hope.
It's devastating. Devastating.
But the first thing I did was, well, can you take me to the skate park?
Yeah, I was gonna say, you skated.
Yep, that's where they took me, because just rolling with it, man, it's like I was feeling it.
Yeah. Did it take your attention off of like all of the...
Oh yeah.
Tell me about it.
Well, you as a skater fully know the feeling of going fast, landing things, feeling it, and just being in the zone of skating, the flow state of nothing else matters, dude.
Yeah.
And that's when I went to like my local park. I knew that park, and I would just cruise around, alling on the box, tray in the bank, ferry in the bank, whatever, the quarters, anything, and hitting the rail, because I knew it.
Right.
And it just felt good.
Right.
Felt great. I wasn't worried about nothing anymore until I hit the wall. I wasn't worried about nothing anymore. I just knew that everything was going to be fine.
Yeah.
If I got my board, I got my 2 feet, heartbeat, anything could be worse, dude.
Wow.
I got my skateboard, my cane, I know where I'm going.
Yeah.
Things are all right. And I'd be flying around town with my cane in front of me, just cruising on the sidewalks with my board, like, because I knew where I was going. And
so you went to the skate park and you already knew the terrain so well that you just like rolled in.
Yeah.
And they just told you, hey, you're blind, you're never getting your vision back ever. And you went straight to the park and you just rolled right in and could go around.
Yeah, I needed to, man.
Yeah.
There was no other option. There wasn't a choice in my mind. There wasn't a choice of doing anything else. There wasn't a choice of sitting there and just crying about it and whining about it. My choice was skateboard, feel good. And then when I was doing that, people started to kind of like see it and get inspired by it. And that blew my mind, dude.
That is very, very inspiring.
It blew my mind because I've always just been the quiet kid, the kind of like the loser and the loner on the side. I was always skating alone because when I grew up, it wasn't really the cool thing to do. You love what you love, man. You don't get to pick it.
That's right.
And I'm glad I love skating.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then after all of that, I started traveling around a little bit for skating. I went to this camp in Los Angeles called Extreme Mobility, and it's a camp for blind people to do extreme sports.
Wow.
So
Extreme Mobility, that's cool.
they take blind kids to go surfing.
Yeah.
I showed up with a cast, by the way, when I showed up. I got accepted into this camp when I didn't have any broken bones.
Yeah.
And then a week before I fly out, I broke my hand here. And
skateboarding?
Yeah.
What were you doing?
It was silly. I was going up a quarter pipe, overturned it, and it was the narrowest, steepest quarter pipe you ever seen. Went off the edge and just landed on like the edge of the concrete like that, and got up. And like I kept skating because I didn't think it was just shake it off. That was a bad idea.
Yeah.
But like I didn't think it was broken, so I just kept skating. And 2 days later, it's like,
oh wow.
So I'm like, yeah, I should go to get an X-ray. And then it got to the point where the X-ray ladies followed me on Twitter because they just knew I'd be back eventually. And I came back like a couple of years later. I tweeted about it. I'm like, I think I might have broken my hand. And I showed up. They're like, I knew you'd be here soon.
Yeah, we saw your tweet.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
It was so funny. But I showed up to Extreme Mobility. They teach us how to go, they take us surfing.
Yeah.
They take us wakeboarding, jet skiing. And they weren't teaching us, and go-karting.
Yeah.
They weren't teaching us how to skate. But I always bring my skateboard everywhere. So I had kids there who were wanting to learn how to skate.
Yeah.
And they're blind as hell. They're blinder than I was. Some of them didn't have any eyes.
Wow.
And I'm like, you want to learn? They're like, yeah. I'm like, let's go.
That's cool.
We all went out front on the street, and I had them all on my board. I brought another board. I went and bought another board at Target. Some of them went and bought their own immediately because they loved it. And I'm like, oh, this is the coolest thing ever, man.
That is so cool.
It was so cool. So I got to teach like a handful of blind kids how to skate. And I learned how to teach them better because, well, I didn't realize that if you tell them to stand on and do a kick, and they're going to do it full force sometimes because they've never, ever seen someone do a slow and needing to control and put your foot back on. So I had to literally catch this kid because he went right out, and I'm like, oh my God. You know, like, it was, you've seen it, I'm sure, too.
Yes.
And it was wild, like, and but I got them all in. I got them, like, because I just go down and move their feet to where it should be, you know?
Yeah, right.
And first thing I do, I'm like, here's the board, feel it out, get to know it.
Yeah, I mean, ollieing's already hard enough being able to see everything. Imagine trying to ollie for your first time ever, seeing a board, not seeing.
Never seeing it, feeling
Never
it.
seeing, just feeling a board.
Yeah.
That's wild.
It was amazing, dude. They inspired me because I was able to skate when I could see, dude.
Yeah.
But No, honestly, I'll be real with you. Never as good as I was blind. Like, I got so much better after going blind.
Really?
When Hippie Mike, by the way, I want to say something about Hippie Mike. That dude is the best.
Yeah.
He's the coolest person in the world.
Yeah.
When I started skating with him, my life changed, to be completely honest, and it was literally this year.
Wow.
I was making music for like 8 years, made hip hop, I made music, like just really stuff to skate to.
Yeah.
And like I got a song called Nikes for My Chucks with another blind skater on it.
Wow.
And blind rapper, and he's from down in Texas.
Nice.
And he's cool with it, you know, he's nice with it.
Yeah.
And I was making music for years, so I didn't really, I put the board on, like I still skate. Don't get me wrong, never stop, but I was focused on the music because there's always shows and there's always studio time. And I went until I hit my peak. I made an album with Stevie Wonder's producer, and I'm like, done.
That's cool.
But then the scene started to get really messy, and it just wasn't fun anymore. I'm like, yeah, this sucks. I'm gonna go back into what's fulfilling in life, dude. I want to go back to the things that make me happy, which is giving skating my all, and going back into doing motivational speaking to the schools and stuff, and I revamped my clothing line. I rebranded this year. Like I brought it all back this year, and it all came like so serendipitously together because I did that, and I found this local skate park or this local skate shop in Langley where I live now. Me and my wife have a house in Langley, and I just wanted to find a local shop because I'm like, I'm getting back into it, so I'm gonna find the local place and see if they can help me get a setup together.
I love it.
And I go to this place called I think it was called 50. And I'm like, hey man, are you guys looking for to sponsor anybody pretty much? Because I'm broke. And I'm like, or I was broke, and I'm like, but I needed a board. Yeah. And they're like, yeah, is it you? And I'm like, yeah. They're like, yes, I'm like, whoa. Don't just give me things. Watch my skate video first, at least.
Yeah, there you go.
So I put my video up from 2016, which is still a little while back, but it was the last time I had a videographer, and I was going hard.
Where do we see this video?
It's on my YouTube channel, the Blind Kid TBK, or TBK the Blind Kid. You'll find me anywhere you look up that. Like on Instagram, TBK the Blind Kid TBK, TBK the Blind Kid. But you got to put the letters.
Follow him on there.
Thank you.
TBK the Blind Kid. Instagram.
My website is theblindkidtbk.com. You can get all my links from there. My YouTube is TBK the Blind Kid, and I got my skate video on there. It is from 2016 because again, that was the last time I had a videographer before we're doing our filming now. Yeah,
I love it.
And I showed them the video, and they're like, "Oh yeah, definitely take this deck, take this shirt too, right?" And I'm like, "Cool." So I set my board up, and I started skating. But the guy who ran that shop texted me one day, and he's like, "I'm going out to this indoor park because it was starting to rain and snow, and it was like getting bad out, so I couldn't skate until the next season." So he's like, "I'm going out to this indoor." I'm like, "There's an indoor?" He's like, "Do you want to come?" I'm like, "Yes, pick me up, let's go." So he picks me up, takes me out to Hippie Mike Industries. Oh wow. That I never heard of before. Yeah. And I go to Hippie Mike Industries, we're skating, and that's actually where I ripped these pants, I'm pretty sure, to make them into 3/4. This isn't cut, this isn't manufactured, man. Yeah. This is skated so hard, and I didn't want to go back and change, so I just ripped the rest off. Yeah. But we're at Hippie Mike's, and this is one of the most this is my favorite day in my entire life, all right? Yeah. I go out there and I get to ride his Mini, and my favorite trick growing up, or a trick I've been trying for probably 18 years at that point, was a hand plant. Yeah. I just thought they looked so cool. Yes. I've been trying them forever. I never understood. I always just either fell on my head, rolled out, didn't understand how to catch my board afterwards, whatever. It just never worked. Yeah. And Mike saw me trying that. He's like, "Are you trying a hand plant?" Yeah. Like, yeah. He's like, "All right, let me teach you how. Come here. Yeah. You're about this point on the ground. This is where you'll go down and grab your board first." I'm like, well, that was my first problem. Yeah, grab the board. Yeah, grab it first. And then he's like, "Okay, then you plant your hand here, go over yourself." I'm like, okay. So then I'm trying it, not landing it. And the sponsor that brought me down there, he's like, "Give me your board, I'll show you." And he's trying to be like, "Oh yeah, I'm good, I'll do it." Yeah. And before this, by the way, we were talking about our pants, and he's wearing like these $90 Harley Davidson pants that he's bragging about, kind of. Yeah. And I'm wearing these. Yeah. And Mike's wearing what Mike wears, the jogging pants. He's like, "I'm wearing cut-up joggers, bro." So Britt was the guy I'm talking about. He ripped his brand new pants. Oh, we laughed at him. Then he also didn't land it. And then Mike teach me how. I go down, I land it the first time, or not first time, like probably 8th try, but I land it, and it was the coolest thing ever. So then I bought the last pair of Hippie Mike shoes, because, well, I had to buy something to solidify that day. Yeah, that's awesome. And after that, I wanted to go back to that park any chance I could get. Yeah. And I didn't get a chance for probably like a year, because no one wanted to drive me an hour and a half away just to go skate in an indoor, until I found a couple other people who love skating. skating and whatever. And they started driving me out there, and I started going out there as much as I could. I'm starting to convince people, you know. I'm starting to like tell people like, no, this is serious, man. I'm taking this back.
Yeah.
This means a lot to me. This makes
Yeah.
me feel good. Like people saw a change in me from when I was just kind of pissed off making hip hop music to smiling again.
Oh yeah.
Being blind is rough, and when you're only in dark, dingy studios all the time and dark clubs all the time, everything's just sad. Everyone's just sad
Yeah.
in the hip hop scene. Everyone's sad or angry.
Yeah.
So like, and no one skates, and I'm like, that's probably the problem.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, we need to get them all skating.
yeah, and then the first try, no warm up.
That's right.
That's out just unreal. And so then when I started going to hippie mics more, he kind of like, he must have seen something in me, or I felt like he saw something in me.
Yeah.
Which he's told me since he has, but like, I just felt something good there, and
Yeah.
he started teaching me things. Every time I was there, he'd teach me something new.
Yeah.
Because I'm committed, man. He saw that I'm like, I'm not gonna stop
Yeah.
until I break something, and even then I might not, unless it's my feet,
Yeah.
or I land it, and then I want the next thing to learn.
That's cool.
And so he's starting to teach me things I've never done before. Most of these tricks I've never done, even because I didn't know how.
Right.
Didn't know what they were.
Yeah.
And he taught me the hand plan, all those things. And after that, I started going there like every week, and it led up to my birthday on August 21st. And I'm out there. I'm starting to be friends with him, right? Which was
Yeah.
crazy, because at this point, I'm learning how much of a legend this guy is.
Yeah, Hippie Mike is a legend.
Unbelievable,
Legendary.
huge legend. Like in the scene, in the industry, in the world, he's just a legend.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe that I'm like friends with Hippie Mike, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm like, hey man, now that we're friends, just want to let you guys know, I'm cool with pranking the blind kid, you know? Because if I had blind friends, I'll tell you right now, I'd prank them.
Why? What?
This is fun. I'm
What
cool
would
with it.
you? What prank would you do on the blind kid?
Well, let's imagine giving a blind person a shirt that can't read a shirt.
Yeah?
Would you tell them what's written on it?
No?
Exactly.
Okay, so what is it going to be written on the shirt?
Well, okay, so for example, this is literally what happened when he sponsors me. I go out there thinking, because I told them, I don't know, you can write like soul on my shirt, it doesn't matter, whatever, like it's something I don't know what it is, you can write whatever, this guy sucks on my shirt, and I'm thinking it's going to be a new HMI shirt.
Yeah.
But my buddy has a
New HMI shirt.
my buddy has a hat that is a Bass Pro Shop hat, but
Yeah.
I said that's my bro stop
Yeah.
instead of Bass Pro Shop.
Yeah,
Take
yeah,
the B away. And I'm wearing this hat thinking it's a joke, so I'm just like, it's not this one, obviously. I got it down. I'm like, and then Mike's like, come out here. I want to get a picture of you. I'm like, for my birthday. I'm like, okay. So I go out to the middle of the park, and Taylor and my buddy and my wife, Natalie, she saw it, and she's like, well, but what's going to happen? I'm in the mindset that they're going to prank me right now.
Yes.
I'm thinking that he's going to give me this shirt that says whatever across it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's like, okay, stand right here, hold this shirt, and yeah, I'm going to take a picture of you. I'm like, okay, I'm holding it up. I'm like, big cheesing because I got this stupid hat facing forwards too.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking this is gonna be a stupid shirt too. I'm like, ha, 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 ha. He goes, so do you want to ride for me? And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah. You're like, you want to be on the team? I'm like your team? He's like, yeah. I'm like, I dropped everything and I just jumped him with a hug. I didn't care, you know.
Oh, that's great.
I'm like, yes, please. So I got put on. That was when I got put on the team, and I'm like, so what's the shirt say?
Yeah.
Just Happy Mike Industries, man. And it was like one that he spray paint tie-dyed it for me, and it was like,
Oh yeah, cool.
so it was my Hippie Mike shirt, dude.
That's
That was
awesome.
that was it, and like it was just the coolest thing ever, because now I'm on the Hippie Mike team.
And now you're working on a video part?
Yeah, well, we're working on a video called This Is Us.
Yeah.
And it's all being shot inside the skate park.
Wow.
And just in the skate park. So all the people in the team are hitting parts in there, and I've got a few cool things. He taught me some new stuff for the video. I did a frontside 5-0, which I've never done. I got the backsides on lock no matter what. I never thought of going the other way.
Yeah.
And then 50-50s, hand plants, mini pipe stuff, right? Just a couple stalls.
Yeah.
And then he taught me a disaster on a bank after I did have you seen the park? Do you know the wall
Yeah.
with the rail going into it?
Yes.
So I go over that wall, or over that rail on the wall.
Yeah.
And when he taught me that, it was terrifying, dude.
Yeah,
I
that
fell
is
off
terrifying.
that wall like multiple times.
Yeah.
And overturned and ended up like into the other wall multiple times.
Wow.
Until I finally got it, but now I got it.
Yeah.
But after I did that, I went up and did a backside 180 into disaster on the bank, and just never done that.
Yeah.
So got that for the video. I got a shove it, a fakey big spin, and a 180 over this small 3 stair, which is like kind of like a 1 block.
Okay, nice.
And then we also put a rail over that.
Yeah.
And rails aren't my expertise.
Yeah.
Big shock.
Yeah.
I've definitely bounced my face off the concrete before doing those.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that one's on Instagram. It's pretty funny, actually.
Yeah.
But we put the rail down the ramp. He taught me how to do it.
Yeah.
But first, he taught me how to do it down, not over stairs, but over just a drop. And when he taught me that, it was a lot shorter, like just 4 feet. I did half of it.
Right.
And I kept missing it. But he brings me aside and he's like, stop, breathe, visualize it.
Yeah.
And then he just puts his hand on my back and goes, now lean forward into it, And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And like 3 tries later, I landed it.
Boom. That's
And,
awesome.
The backside board slide over it. Then we moved it into over the stairs, but instead of doing just half of it, 4 feet, I'm like, let's do the whole 8.
Yeah.
So we got the whole 8, and it took me a bunch of takes. Like I broke my ribs on it, they still hurt.
Oh, wow.
But I got it though. And I got the board slide over the stairs, rode it out and turned out.
Yeah.
And I bailed a bunch of times purely because it had like one of those thick feet on it, and I
Yes.
just kept clipping the foot on the way
Oh,
out.
yeah.
If it was a flat foot, I would have been fine.
Yeah.
But that's an excuse, and I don't like that.
Yeah.
I got to do it no matter what.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
I landed it. I made sure I got it, but yeah, man, it's just so amazing being able to say I'm on the Hippie Mike Industries team.
That's awesome.
And then the day that I talked to you on the phone, actually.
Yeah.
I won't be mean to you again. Don't worry. I just want to know why Braille, no blind skate. Anyways.
Oh yeah, I talked to him on the phone. He says Braille has no blind skaters. What's up with that? and then I told him the whole story of where the name Braille came from and how it all works.
And I already knew that because when you're in Braille and when you're skating hard, you're feeling it, baby.
That's right. That's right. You're feeling it.
About 2 minutes before you were on the phone, or while you were on the phone with him, I just landed in my first power ollie, and it was off a tailgate of a truck.
Wow, that's awesome.
Because Mike taught me how to do it right then.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, man, skating has just been perfect, man. It's just been life-changing,
awesome.
and I really appreciate your time listening to my story, dude.
Yeah, thank you. Thank
If
you.
you got any more questions, I'd love to answer them if I didn't answer anything.
Well, tell all the kids, tell them whatever you can say that's going to be inspirational, because you know some people out there are going through whatever they're going through in life, or they're trying to learn a trick, or they're having a really hard time. What inspiration can you give them from your perspective, from your story?
There's a lot of people in this world who are gonna make you think that their life is perfect. They'll land a trick every single time, and their hand of cards is all aces, you know. Nobody has a good deck of cards. No one has a good hand of cards. Everyone's faking it. You just gotta learn how to play the ones you got, or love the ones you got, and play the ones you hate. You can't just think everything is good, dude. Live with it, love it, roll with it. Because you know what? You could go blind. You could primo and break your ankle. Doesn't mean you're gonna stop. I didn't. You don't got to. Roll with every punch that's given to you. Just eat it, you know. Just take it and roll with it and feel it, man. Make sure you're always feeling it, because that's always been the way.
I love it. Well, thank you so much. Thanks for telling your story, and keep inspiring.
Man, if you ever feel like you gotta stop, or if something's trying to stop you, find a way. That's
right.
it. There's always a way.
That's right.
Just gotta find it.
Keep pushing.
Keep
Let's
pushing.
go.
Thanks, Aaron, dude.
Yeah, thank you.